As always, Chewy, you have no idea what's going to play next, but you introduce it perfectly.
Still been plenty to do, as Māori Affairs correspondent Te Aniwa Hurihanganui reports.
On the eve of the final hikoi, they haka. A Ngāti Toa Taonga they plan to take to the steps of Parliament.
Today is about kotahitanga, learning about the whakapapa of this rohe, so we can go on with our best foot forward, our popo.
After 8 days on the move, the momentum has grown.
It's a sweet van.
I like that van, eh?
Oh, that van's so good.
It's just
amazing.
I think that we might have a new. We should find out who's got it. Maybe we can borrow it for a weekend and do a trip.
After 8 days on the move, the momentum has grown. Thousands taking action in towns and cities across Aotearoa and overseas. Protesters.
This is what you were saying, Joe. They've got a whole range of them. Have a look at this. It's pretty wicked.
Seen here in Brisbane and Sydney, some in Hawaii, and on the streets of New York. The hikoi mo te tiriti movement even reaching as far away as Mount Everest.
The response to the dumbass politician trying to change the landscape, and it's great because it just shows you where our people is.
Tame Iti knows a thing or two about protest.
I don't know how many times, but I've been doing it for the last 50 odd years. But today is different. Today is different, so you have a whole different generation.
A generation who aren't afraid to speak up. Hana Rāpiti Maipi's stand in the House last week, adding more fuel to the hikoi flame.
My sign says, have mana like Hana, that little stone she pulled in the Parliament meter.
You like that one?
Oh, that's good.
I noticed
so
also
good.
I noticed one of the boys who was performing a haka had Hana written on his chest in like white paint or white ink. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it's just what she's done to that generation, the younger generation. Like remember she's 21 and she's in Parliament, and she was the reason that haka started, and she was the one who got that going. It was like, so therefore in that moment she 21 was the leader in the House. It's phenomenal.
Hana, that little stunt she pulled in the Parliament made
Little
us proud.
Her ripping of the Treaty Principles Bill being replicated on the other side of the world. And if that wasn't enough, the Māori Queen has now taken a stand and will join the hikoi tomorrow.
Very emotional for our people to see more come through, as to live up to our late King's words, kotahitanga is the way.
People are already pouring into Wellington, including Ngaitahu from the south. Police gearing up for a big day too.
From the briefings that I've had and the conversations that I've had, the organisers of the hikoi have been working very closely in cooperation with police to try and reduce as much disruption as they can.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just got to do this once. Mark Mitchell. Sorry, I'll keep going.
To members of the public.
For what is predicted to be one of the biggest hikoi the capital has ever seen.
And then the story goes into where to look out for. That's where I got that information from, that later in the story. They're going to start, there's a car vehicle drive starting at 6 a.m. and they're starting to walking at 4 a.m. And the thing about the Queen, that the reason that's kind of been mentioned with some surprise is that the tradition is she basically stays silent, keeps her head down for 12 months of mourning from her father. So her being involved and possibly meeting with the Prime Minister, which was mooted today, is fascinating. Yeah, it's really interesting. I wanted to show you one other thing as well, because we remember the story about Lydia Thorpe, right? Lydia Thorpe is the senator in Australia who protested the King. Well, she was censured today, much like Hana is being censured, right, and been put in time out. I don't know if Lydia is particularly replicating Hana, but she makes mention of of what she's going through and what's happening for her. Let's play this.
Censure motion is like that to me. I don't give a damn about censure motion. In fact, I'm going to use it for kindling later on in the week. If the colonising king were to come to my country again, our country, then I'll do it again. And I will keep doing it. I will resist colonisation in this country. I swear my allegiance to the real sovereigns of these lands. First Peoples are the real sovereigns. You don't have some random king rock up and say that he's sovereign. Would you like that happening to your home? Would you like someone to knock on your door and say, time for you to leave, I'm taking over, and these are the new rules of your house? Well, not on my watch. This is shutting down a woman of colour. White supremacy exists in this country. White supremacy exists in this building. Now, to call it out doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's just truth-telling. I come from strong blood and I represent the Black Sovereign Movement, and we are resisting the colony. I'll use the privilege of what a senator has to infiltrate and bring down the colony. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for friends or votes. I'm here to bring down the colony.
There you go. Enough said. Enough said.
I think from everything that I have seen behind this desire for Māori to stand up against this bill, is I think they've completely misunderstood the vibe that's going to arrive on the forecourt tomorrow.
You're talking about David Seymour and his crew have misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. I think they have. Don't get me wrong. There is anger there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have seen, like when we had our rally here in Dunedin, is much more positive, because it is people standing up for themselves, and it is people looking around and seeing who is standing with them. And yes, it's a bad thing that they're protesting. It's a bad thing that they have to. This is discussions that we have had. We were making progress, however slow. There was progress happening. This is a backward step. But I think if the same vibe carries on to that forecourt tomorrow, that it's going to be an incredibly powerful, positive movement for Māori. That is why those kids are there.
Yeah.
It is not just the old guard, it's the new guard. And this is what Seymour is so afraid of. He's got to get this done, and he's misjudged his time, and he's misjudged how people look at it. Yes, he's reading comment sections in the Herald. It's everyone's forum, and who knows about these bloody greedy Māoris and stuff like that. That's the old guard. I look and I see the comments in there of people, with the FOMO that they're not going to be able to go there. Just make sure that you're extra visible on social media tomorrow, especially if you're Pākehā or non-Māori in any way, that you support them. Social media can be a real double-edged sword, but if people see you standing up for this, it'll be seen. It'll be noted. You say nothing, it'll also be noted.
Yes, fair, actually. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. And like I said, I'll have a look around on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and stuff tomorrow, and if I can find some live feeds, which I'm sure they'll be out there, I might jump in live as well. So if you have FOMO, feel free to make sure you subscribe or make sure you hit the notification bell. Then if we do, I'm not sure, if we do go live, we'll definitely try and figure something out. And also, obviously, tomorrow night we'll be back in and we'll be doing the big rundown as well. A few super chatters in there that I just want to get to as well. Chewy Wiming says, Seymour's Te Tiriti takes are as astute as Trump's tariff takes.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the same way that numerous experts immediately have stood up and said, no, you've got this wrong. So much expert advice. Learned legal scholars and Toreo scholars, treaty scholars, they've all said that he's wrong. There's not a single one that stood up, and he can't show us who's telling him that he's right.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the evidence on this one.
Brian says, wonderful to see young ones involved. Kia kaha. Nakihi says, David Seymour, the person that has united Māoridom. I was just thinking, imagine if on his gravestone it says, David Seymour, the man who united Māoridom. and then people kind of lost the story. It'd be like in 200 years from now, that would be seen as like, he must have been an amazing man. Must have been an amazing man to unite Māoridom. They don't know the actual story that goes with it.